Hi, I'm Anusha Ramanathan, and I'm joined by a few of my colleagues from the Center of Excellence in Teacher Education, which is housed in the School of Education at TIS Mumbai. But we are jointly announcing these programs for all education programs of MA Education, MA Education Elementary, MA Education and Technology, and BEd, MEd, lateral entry, and integrated. Um, so bear with us. We will have it as a workshop in a sense. We take you through all the programs and then please ask us questions as you have more of. Please feel free to interrupt the dialogues and, pop in with your questions at any point in time. I have my colleagues. There is Anil Maman, there is Nikhat, and Uchita Bhaksani, who are all colleagues of mine at the center. And we will be happy to have your questions, take you through some of these points and, engage and ensure that you're able to make the right decision. What we will do is take you through the element of what the processes of the 5 programs that we have, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, and the kind of admission processes that you will be facing in the future. There are some questions that are still uncertain. Our website will still give you some more clarity, but we are happy to, you can keep visiting our site and you can write into us to get more clarity. And we have the education here at TIS. Programs of education have been run since 2006 in the Mumbai campus and 2011 in the Hyderabad campus. And we have expanded on these programs to include an MA Education Elementary was the first program. MA Education in Hyderabad was the second program. MA Education in the Mumbai campus was the third program. And then we had BEd MEd integrated, and then it came down to lateral entry. That was in 2020. And then we had the MA Education and Technology, which is the newest, shiniest bright spark in our kitty right now. And so these are the programs that we have. This is otherwise in TIS itself, we have 60 plus multidisciplinary programs, and education well fits into that regime. And so we really focus on a lot of field action, and a lot of our courses are really field informed. So the education programs that you will find with us are very focused on the rigor of the field. So a lot of the educational innovations that happen in the country, the history of education is rooted and grounded in some of these historical innovation sites that could be recent or in the past that are studied. And so it's very well informed by that. And we focus on national, international discourses. We engage with policy making ourselves and we study policies as well. And so we have a very robust interaction and collaborations with very many organizations, both in India and abroad. And those people come in, give webinars, take guest lectures, and also inform us of both the pedagogy and the content of our courses. And we have a vibrant campus life. And in addition, STIS is very committed to providing both financial support and academic support at the institutional level. In addition to that, our schools and the center itself provides its own level. So having done all of it, we would want to know why you should choose education. And one of the elements that we have is, these, as I said, are the different branches in a sense. The Center of Excellence is part of the School of Education at Mumbai campus, but both of us anchor certain programs separately, and that is why it has been put as these 3 arcade. And then the School of Educational Studies in Hyderabad is also something that we collaborate and work extensively with together as a unit of education in TIS. But of course, geographically, it is located in Hyderabad. And so there are different kinds of elements that are there. Our MA education program, you will notice, has begun in 2006. It was housed under the School of Social Work. And then over a period of time, it came to on in its own with a school dedicated completely to education. And so now with NEP, this has become very, very important for us. We have varied programs. As I said, those 5 programs that we are looking at, these are the major components. What you will find is that the B.Ed. M.Ed. is, and we have an integrated 3-year program, and we have lateral entry for M.Ed if you have done your B.Ed, and we have a lateral exit for B.Ed should you want to just do the first 2 years of your course and get a degree of B.Ed and exit, and then decide to do your M.Ed later, in which case you will have to do 2 years of M.Ed, whereas in B.Ed. M.Ed, you could have done just 1 year in a sense. So that's something that you would be looking at. And this is NCTE recognized because for the B.Ed program, you will require both the NCTE and the UGC recognition. So they are recognized under that separate body, and that's why they are in a separate basket, very focused on teacher education and teacher preparation. In the professional education sector, we have 2 full-time programs, which are the MA education that we offer at the Hyderabad campus and also the MA education that we offer at the Mumbai campus. You may well ask, what are the differences? Well, there are certain core subject specializations that the Hyderabad campus faculty is better equipped to deal with. For instance, inclusive education and gender are things that they are very concerned with. We here focus a lot more on edtech and policy papers. And so there's some differences, but the courses, overall, the program remains the same and the courses are shared, they are the same. So you get the same degree at the end of the 2-year program that you're working with. We can have more of these questions should they occur to you as we go ahead. And what we have are blended flexible modes, and we have 2 programs for you for that. One is the MA Education Elementary. It is focused on the elementary education, though it does take care of ICT and other components, but it is focused primarily on the elementary education, what used to be known as elementary, and now what would be primarily looking at the foundational years and the preparatory years of education under the NEP guidelines. And the MA in Education and Technology, which is also offered, and we have a part-time option as well in it, as well as a full-time option. Once we come to it, you will have more of it from Anil and Uchita, who are also part in this. We have, as I said, many collaborations nationally and internationally, and we are really focused on UDL principles that come in. We want to focus on educational design, and we have done a lot of TPD innovations, teacher professional development innovations over the years that have not only seen us grow and expand across the nation, but also across the globe, especially in the global south, with a lot of collaborations in Afghanistan, in Nepal, in Bhutan, in Maldives, in Nigeria, Tanzania, South Africa, and of course, we also have collaborations which are very robust in Europe. Okay, we will be looking at some of these programs, and I will introduce, sorry, I seem to have missed, apologies for that. And we have won quite a few awards and recognitions in that area and domain. I won't get into the details of these, but we have over 50 plus publications. We have quite a few of the achievements and awards that are there, right? And we have constantly been trying to look at field action as informing both our research and our programs courses. We have varied partners, both at the academic level and at the corporate level for CSR activities and for different kinds of projects and initiatives that we do. And what we really want to focus on is some of these aspects, which are the school internship is very focused on the B.Ed. M.Ed, But in addition, we have placement partners, and these are just few of our things. But we are a research-based institution, and therefore we have field attachments and capstone collaborations with few of these agencies. Capstone projects are things that the MA Education Technology students definitely do, and we have robust research that people carry out over a year in all our programs, especially when they exit with an MA, MEd, or MA Education Elementary or MA Education and Technology. We have a placement cell that is driven by the students, and we will come to that aspect as well. And these are largely the programs. If you have taken the PGCUET, these are the question papers for each of these programs that you could have looked at. All of them could have been, one of the common papers across all of them is question paper 11, but you also had options and choices that are based on the program specifications, like 16, which was there for BEd and MA education, and 15, which was there for the MA education in Hyderabad, and MA education technology, and the MA education elementary. So these were the kind of elements that you would have in the MA education, MEd, not the MA education, but the MEd had question paper 11, 15, and 16. Should you not have taken any of these papers, and should you still wish to apply for education, we do have another entry point that may be there after we finish admissions under the PGCUET. If there are seats remaining, then we will open it up for admissions via a route of taking up another test and separate process that we will explain. But we don't know. It really is dependent on the seats. Yes. Can I? Yes, Nikhat, you can leave. BEd, MEd, and integrated programs, as I said, have lateral and entries and exits. We have a full-time program with 3 years and 120 credits. This means 40 credits a year. And you can enter for BEd in year 1 and exit in year 2 with a BEd degree. If you already have a BEd degree, a bachelor's in education, you can apply for the master's in education program and enter in year 2 of our 3-year program and exit in year 3. And so that is the lateral entry that you're allowed. Otherwise, you can do it in 3 years. Should you exit the BEd in 2 years, please note that you will have to take the MEd, should you pursue it afterwards. You will have to do it as a 2-year course, though the NEP now, of course, is considering some of the 1-year programs, etc. But that's in the future. Right now, it's 2 years. We have certain program highlights. We offer pedagogic specializations in English, mathematics, science, and social sciences. We offer you specializations in curriculum studies, education development and policy courses, inclusive education, and ICT. And each of these comprise about 20% of our courses, right? And we have a year-long internship for the schools where students are placed across the year for a school. There is and with block teaching periods of about, in the vacation period, about, not vacation, but the non-teaching period, they would have, about a month or 3 weeks in the beginning of the semester, of each semester of the second year. And we have other professional formation courses as are enshrined in the NEP as competencies. You will be focusing with your career opportunities in middle and secondary school teaching. You will have to work with the faculty of departments of education, but to get into a government college teaching, you must have also school teaching experience, but your MEd qualifies you to become a faculty in education teaching department, teacher education institution. You can get into curriculum development, policy analysis, planning and administration for education, and of course, as school heads, provided you have some experience and research. And you can also get into higher education. You need to have an academic discipline in your undergraduate program. This is not the ITEP, so you would have done your undergraduate and your postgraduate. and it must be in the field of art, science, commerce. If you have done engineering, medicine, or pharmacy, depending on your field, you can, of course, choose to specialize in science, but they must be relevant to the pedagogic specialization. And pedagogies are English, mathematics, science, and social studies. Candidates who have any vocational training will need to check with us whether you are eligible. There are certain clauses for eligibility that may depend on how many credits you have in your courses. So please write to us at cetprograms@clicksindia.org, which is put up in a lot of our collaterals, and we will get back to you whether you're eligible or not eligible. And as I won't repeat some of these points, but in order for MEd, you must have had a B.Ed. That is very necessary. Okay. Sorry. Okay. In MA education, Uchita, if you want to come in at any point, please feel free to jump in. In MA education, largely it's a full-time mode, both in the Hyderabad campus and the Mumbai campus. So both the B.Ed, M.Ed, the M.Ed by itself and the MA education are full-time. You have to be regular on campus. Our classes occur from 9 in the morning to 6 in the evening, sometimes stretch a bit longer, Monday to Friday. And you do have some free time in between, and we have a wonderful library that you can spend time in, but it is a full-time program. And so that duration is 2 years, 80 credits. And what you will be able to do with it is, it has some similarities with what the B.Ed, M.Ed will have, but we focus on advanced specializations that you will do and not pedagogy-focused courses. But in terms of thinking about education and also preparing yourself for certain things. Zehra, the eligibility for an MA education program, a very good question, is that you need to be a graduate. You can be a graduate in any discipline. You should have had a graduation degree. That is the eligibility criteria, and nothing else really, right? So you can look at the competency-based courses, but we now have also teacher professional development, and you're anchored in research groups, but with education, and you can work with pedagogic disciplines. Because we have the B.Ed, M.Ed program, we also offer pedagogic disciplinary courses of advanced specialization in mathematics, English, social studies, and sciences, right? Social sciences and sciences. We have experiential learning that you will do in both the B.Ed and the M.Ed, MA education programs, where you can get in to those levels. Yes, so I'll get into what you can do with this career opportunities, Zehra. And you will be working with both non-governmental organizations and schools. So schools are open, but what is the difference between a B.Ed curriculum opportunity and an MA is that B.Ed qualifies you to become a school teacher under the government schools. And there are private schools that may not require or mandate, for you to have a B.Ed. So you could get into teaching, but largely our students get into administrative responsibilities at project manager, program level head. Even in the schools, they are more in the administration capacities. But there are some who get into curriculum development, content development, policy, program designing and implementation, evaluation and monitoring, research and higher education. I must say that through the NGOs and through private schools, some of our MA education students have also been placed in teaching responsibilities in schools which are privately run. But in government schools, you won't get an opportunity because the mandate is that you must have a B.Ed, right? You can be in contractual positions, but not full-time. And the TET exams you are not allowed to take them if you have a B.Ed. Does that help you answer your question, Zehra? You can get into school courses in terms of administrative and management functions in the school. Yes, those opportunities are available. If there are other questions, please do ask. And as I said, the faculty remains similar across the streams of B.Ed and MA education. And the Hyderabad campus faculty also come down to Bombay, and we have exchanges and we do collaborate a lot. So it's not like you won't get the faculty. We do have a lot of programs, but the Hyderabad faculty are a different faculty because of geographical boundaries than the Mumbai faculty. But you can go to our website and check, and we collaborate very extensively in developing the courses, administering the courses, and also in research, etc. This is the eligibility area. You must have completed your bachelor's of 3 years, or you must have completed a master's degree in terms of things. I mean, master's is of course allowed, but a bachelor's of a minimum of 3 years. You do not have to have a 4-year bachelor to have applied. You should have passed in all your certificates, and you should be able to get those degree certificates in a sense, right? You will have an internship during the course. So even in this, there are internships. As I was pointing out, there is experiential learning that occurs through field attachments, internships that are there, and you will be doing research. So it's very similar, but the internship here is not a school internship. It is an internship in an organization. And even if it is a school, it will be at the administrative, not a teaching responsibility. So the specializations availability, you can also check out. It really will depend. But as I said, we have some in policy, in ICT, and inclusive education, and so on. So, but your specializations and in teacher professional development and so on. So yes, B.Ed students must take teacher professional development. It's a compulsory component of their MEd program. MA education, however, can choose to work more in policy than in teacher education and so on. So you have a wider variety there. Avnish, thank you for your question. How do you choose between MEd and MA education? I would, and this is a recommendation personally, but I would recommend MEd over MA if you have done your BEd for a reason. The courses, the openings are available to you with an MA education and an MEd, both equally. But with an MEd, you also get an entry point into government institutions should you choose to opt for that path. If you have looked at the NCTE new regulations, they have prioritized MEd over MA in teacher education, teachers recruitment, right? Teacher educators recruitment. While that is now, there is a stay on it and MA may be considered, the fact that it is better to be safe is a better option. So I would, in that case, because the openings remain similar for you, you will have all the opportunities of an MA in education, with the additional opportunity of also being able to apply to government sector jobs of teacher education institutions and government schools, etc., opening up a bit more for you would be the recommendation. I hope that helps answer your queries. If you have any other, please do ask. And please feel free to unmute yourselves, folks. So these are some of our requirements. We now get into MA Education Elementary, which is a blended program in a sense. Yes, Zehra, BEd is absolutely mandatory for MEd, absolutely mandatory. All right. So you cannot do an MEd without having done an BEd, but you can do an MA education without doing BEd or anything. You just need to be a graduate, right? To do a BEd, you must have a disciplinary knowledge also. So those are the concerns. MA in Education Elementary has the same eligibility criteria, bachelor's degree. You need to have a degree, undergraduate degree, but it is blended, which means that you come to our campus about once a semester for 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 10 days to 3 weeks, all right, about 2 weeks per semester. And you will earn credits. This has to change. We are now pushing it to 80 credits. This has not changed on our website, so we've left it at 66, but this will change to 80 credits as per the NEP requirements. It's already in, in the process. We're just awaiting the final, signs for us to change the structure. But it will change to 80 credits, which means 40 credits per semester, for per year, and 20 credits per semester. We have a dual mode structure. So a lot of your learnings are, you have lectures, even the contact period is for 2 weeks approximately per semester, as I said. In the vacation period, largely, say, just before we start classes, say in July, this time we are starting classes in July 28th. So we will be having contact period in July. And then in November, many of our students go away after exams, and then we have the MA Education elementary students, or in the vacation period of December, we will have the MA Education elementary students and the MA Education and Technology students who are also blended learning. More on that later, but we will have these there. This is focusing on elementary education, as I prior said, and we are going to be looking at critical reflections on thematic issues that relate to it. Primarily, you are school professionals. This is aimed at working professionals. So you already may be school teachers or curriculum developers, but you can develop your skills, enhance it. And most of our people, most of our graduates in 2006 have worked in these organization sectors that you're seeing on the right of your screen. Elementary school professionals, curriculum development, educational consultants, which may be both in implementation and policy research, research area itself, teacher trainers or educators, and school administrators. We now come to MA Education and Technology, and I will request Anil and Uchita to take over. Zehra, sorry, you have asked a question. Before they begin, I'll just come in. No, one of the papers, right? Either 11, 30, 13 or 15, depending on which, program you have applied for, will be mandatory. So basically of these, right? So it depends. In the Hyderabad campus, it was 3, 11, 15. For the Mumbai campus, it was 3, 11, 16. That is where it will be. Yeah. One of them, not both. Yeah. Yes. Abhinav, that is a very system-based issue. It is just based on the cutoffs on whoever is getting in. So it is a back-end administrative, what you call a code that will come through that from all of these, what are the pool resources, and then each of the highest participant cutoffs will be done at the back end. We'll get back to that question a bit later. Uchita and Anil, over to you for MA in Education Technology.
Thank you. So the MA in Education.
Or is this the same slide?
This is the same slide. I'll ask you to move.
Yeah.
So the MA in Education and Technology is one of the newest programs at the center. And it was developed to focus on the intersection of both education and technology, given all our recent developments. This program is delivered in the flexible mode. So you have to do approximately 50 days on campus, which, like Anusha mentioned, for the MA in elementary education program, you come 2 to 3 times in the year. It is a 1-year program totaling 42 credits. However, we do also have an option to complete the program in a part-time mode over the span of 2 years. Could you go to the next slide, please? So one of the unique aspects of this program, apart from the time duration, of course, is the intersection of educational courses that are found as part of the B.Ed, M.Ed, and the MA education program, along with the integration of technology-based courses that look at the integration of technology in education. A lot of the faculty for this particular program come from the industry. So we have people from with over 20 to 30 years of experience working in the domain of EdTech who come and teach the program, along with experienced faculty from TIS. Can we move on? So another unique aspect of the program, which is there in the program highlights here, is the capstone project. So unlike the MA in education and B.Ed ML program, instead of following a very traditional research path, the capstone project is a more dynamic, culminatory project, which can take the form of a research or the form of a product development. There's lots of options to explore here. We have extensive engagement from industry experts and practitioners from the field who come in to deliver lectures and also seminars from on their current practices. In terms of post-program opportunities, there are a lot of avenues for career growth. A lot of these roles that you could take up are also similar to the MA in education and MEd program, but with a more focus on the integration of technology. So avenues like instructional design, content development also open up post this program. Can we go to the next one? Um, as we were all mentioning through this, through all the programs, this is very well connected with other institutions in the world that are working on education and technology research. And specifically as part of this MA in Education and Technology program, we try to bring in a lot of the contemporary work that is happening in the space to the classroom so that there can be exposure to different kinds of works that are happening. We do bring in a lot of our partner institutions, specifically for seminars and guest lectures throughout the program. So we go to the next one. The eligibility criteria for this program, being a 42 credit master's, is a little different from all the other programs we've discussed so far. You need to have a minimum 4-year undergraduate degree, or you could have your regular 3-year undergraduate degree with a master's degree. So if you have only a 3-year undergraduate degree, you will not be eligible for this program.
If you have a PG diploma after a graduate, please write to us again and we will let you know if the credit criteria is met for the eligibility. I just thought I'll add that part. Yeah.
Thank you. Is there another slide? So, so for both the MA in elementary education and the MA in education and technology, the programs are offered in a blended mode. So, and they are targeted mainly at working professionals. So they include evening classes and block campus visits. But despite you taking up admission in a blended program, you still do have all access to all the services and that any regular test student would have. All the communities are open, the library is open, there's lots of activities that you could take part in. So you're on mute, Anusha.
No, if you want, you can continue as well. Many of these are.
You can take over.
Okay. So we have different research groups. As Uchita was pointing out, the education technology EdTech is a research group that we have. We have educational development policy as another research group, inclusive education, critical humanities and social sciences, science and mathematics education, and teacher education and professional learning communities. And many of us host programs, events, workshops. So you can stay connected with us. Many of this is open. In fact, the EdTech series are open to anyone who wants to participate. We announce it on the social media and anyone can register and participate. And that's similar with some of our EdTech education development and policy research group talks, which may be on the budget and how its implications on education, etc., and certain other launches of reports. So please feel free to stay connected with us, even should you choose not to finally pursue your degree with us. But we have other infrastructure and learning resources. These are available to our students. As Uchita said, we have a robust digital presence as well. We do, the TIS library itself will be accessible to you both remotely. Many of our students, even when they are on campus, they access a lot of journal articles online, and all of that is available to any student who is working with us remotely, and of course, in person as well. We have a residential winter workshop. We do a lot of programs across the spectrum. We do nature trails, we do, experiential learning workshops, we do night watching, and sometimes evening and afternoon sky gazing, depending on where the solar eclipse is. And we have a lot of series of textbooks that are being published under our Rutledge edition, and we create a lot of school synergy and other communities that we build so that you can stay connected with teachers and educators as a professional. And if you want to know more about life at TIS, there is also a student forum that you can follow of life at TIS, but our students find them very exciting. And you will also see that we engage a lot with local schools. For instance, Education Technology has a project that is going on with Delta with the Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation schools. And so the students get an opportunity to interact with students with low resource context and develop solutions for them. And so those all inform our programs. And yes, you will have a lot of studying to do. It is very robust. It is English medium. अगर आप में से कोई भी हिंदी में बात जानना चाहता है, या and if we missed you in that multilingualism, we apologize. Ultimately, your assignments have to be in English, but we do have a robust academic support that comes in, and our students party as well, and party quite hard. They can think, they can also relax and chill. Our process will be in the relevant question paper. And so, yes, some of your questions were, how will the cutoff be decided? The cutoffs will be decided on the basis of the marks for each of these papers. But it really is on the basis of merit of the papers, irrespective of the papers, yes, to that point. Uchita has said you can follow us on Instagram or LinkedIn, yes, but we can stay connected on these updates. Definitely, you can reach out, like how you got the information about this particular webinar on our Facebook, on our Instagram, and our LinkedIn pages. But largely in terms of the decided cutoff mark, it is the mark that will determine, but all the three will be considered equivalently. It is differential marking, but we will see where the cutoffs are coming through. And no, because they are all three allowed equally into it, we don't have a separate category saying, 30% of our population will come from QP11 and 30% from QP15. That's not how it is going to be. We're going to allow you any mark cutoff. I hope that answers your question, Avnish. The second question that you were asking is Zehra talking about the career opportunities. And Pooja, thank you for that recommendation of the Rachna Winter School. We are glad to have you on board and, giving us the thumbs up for that. But yes, it's a fun thing, and we have many more such activities with our regular students. And also when the students come on campus for just about a brief while, they do get some experiences and glimpses of it. Disciplinary knowledge means that if you're doing a B.Tech, Avnish, this is to answer some of your questions. I'll get to Zehra's after that. If you've done your B.Tech and B.Ed, we have largely come to the end of the slide, so you can be raising your questions. I will talk to you about the important dates and the fact that what we are looking at is, we have placement opportunities that can come in, etc. We do focus on placements that are student-led. And if you have a B.Tech, then mostly depending on what your specialization was, say computer applications, you may have had a lot of maths, so you can do math. Like some commerce students, if they have a lot of math in their commerce, can do math in the B.Ed. And if you have a lot of science subjects, so you are a B.Tech in civil engineering or something of that sort, you would have had a lot of science of physics, etc. So you must have to do um, the science. So we will give you that advice based on what your credits of the B.Tech tell you. But that is the disciplinary knowledge in terms of specialization that you can go to. And you can also check the NCTE site to decide how, I mean, we go by that because that was the cutoff of those elements of the B.Tech and the B.Ed. In terms of dissertation for MA education or the MEd program, we do have a dissertation. All our master's program, that means the MEd program, the MA education program, the MA Education Elementary program and the MA Education and Technology program will either have a dissertation, which is a research dissertation that you're following almost for a year, or a capstone project, the way Uchita explained for MA Education and Technology, which will occur through the year, where you may be involved in developing a product or looking through some of these other elements of what a capstone can do. Hostel accommodation is available on a selective basis. It is not a guaranteed accommodation rights that you have. And some of our programs do not have hostel accommodation. For instance, some of our B.Ed students do stay on campus, our MA education students do stay on campus, but it is not a guaranteed hostel accommodation. It depends on worthiness, merit, and it is taken at a central level of TIS. Placements in terms of median and highest package. Well, actually, this is a developing sector, and I don't want to get into median and highest. We are a young institute in the institute level terms, because we began most of our programs from 2006, which with MA education, elementary, but those were largely working professionals. So we don't really have, for the blended program, still last year, we didn't really offer them placement because generally most of them are working professionals. And for the others, it depends. So you could have a CTC of 1 lakh plus of per month. But there are some students who also work in the development sector in underserved communities, who have chosen to work with NGOs like Eklavya or other organizations that will work with tribal communities in remote areas and may pay just as much as 25,000 a month. And so it is a choice that students make at times, not because they are committed to the cause of ensuring that the underserved communities are served. And there are others who do get a higher premium package. As I said, 12 lakhs per annum or above that also. But there is, as of now, the median and the mean we can't really determine because it's very wide ranging depending on which sectoral elements. So some which they're focused on more corporate style, some which are in the schools. So in schools, for instance, we generally state that everyone should get at least about 40,000. I mean, not just schools, but anyone. Like our placement, when people come to us for placement, we do say people, at least 40,000 a month is required, depending on which sector. But even then, there are students who have chosen to work with organizations that may offer a lower salary in order to meet that. So I hope I am able to answer some parts of your question. No, you do not have to apply for 2 or more programs to be safe, admissions to be safe in the PGCET scores. That's not. But yes, you can apply for, I mean, definitely you have 3 options anyway. So you could apply for it and then one of it will be there. So you don't have to, but yes, it is better if you're safe. Samant, you have raised your hand. Please give us that.
Yeah,
The expected, yes, go ahead. I will come back to the career trajectory everywhere.
yeah, I know most of the questions obviously very well cleared by all of you. All the questions as well. I just wanted to get a little more personalized answer from your experience.
Mm-hmm.
I did want to apply for MA education in the Hyderabad campus, like just because it's easier for me to stay in my city. But just going through, I wanted to get your perspective on, between MEd and MA, whereas I wanted to focus on academia and research, both combined. Right. So in your experience, like what would you recommend between the two? MEd for, to get into academia, higher education, or maybe even a PhD and the professor level.
Do you have a B.Ed?
Yes, I do. It was an integrated degree, 4 years.
If you have a B.Ed and you are looking at only MA education versus MEd, then I would recommend MEd, simply because the number of doors are slightly more open, right? The government sector jobs, teacher education institutions which are government run will prefer an MEd over an MA education. But, and all the doors open to MA education are open to MEd as well. Having said that, teacher education space is largely more private than government. So it's not that the others have nothing to, uh, gain, but yes, that would be my recommendation for the specific reason that I mentioned. In all other terms of how you are groomed, how you are shaped, other than also looking at the fact that, yes, the MEd students are given a little bit more exposure, which is very focused on the teacher education institutions, because the NCTE does require you to do those courses. For instance, teacher professional development courses. The MA education students will have more flexibility. They don't have to focus on teacher professional development. They could focus on education policy or ICT, etc. But all those opportunities are also available to the MEd program students.
That I wish to get into teacher education.
Then the MEd is the better choice.
Right.
Now that's so, Zehra, the questions that you're asking are really dependent on what do you want to work with. If someone has decided, like, if you want to get into the management functions, but at what level? Do you want to get into elementary? Then there is education elementary. If you want to get into educational technology, there is educational technology, which is the core. If you want to get into a larger, function of what do you mean by management? Do you want to get into implementation? Do you want to look at program development and management? Do you want to get into fundraising? Do you want to get into policy? Do you want to get into research management? It really depends on what area, and all of these areas are open to you. But an MA education, if you're not interested in teaching, then the MA education programs, depending on your area of interest. If you're interested in technology, then MA education technology. If you're interested in a general sense to understand what is education, then MA education. If you're interested in more the elementary, preparatory, and foundational years, then the MA education elementary. Those will be the ways that you can determine where you can work with. And related to which companies and NGOs, etc., that you can work with schools, as I said even earlier, boards, private schools, boards, there are many. You can work with assessment centers. You can, depending on what you have specialized in. You could be getting into content development. Uchita was talking about content development, curriculum design, that even the MA education technology students get into. You can get into program management functions. You can get into school administration functions. So there are many pathways, but you can also work with UNICEF. We have people, to name a few organizations, since you asked for it, Mantra for Change, CSF, Education Alliance, UNICEF, and corporate sectors like Byju's, and because I'm just naming Byju's because everyone would have heard of it, but TCS and so on and so forth, companies, etc. But that depends on what your core specialization is, what their requirements are, and how you fit the pattern. But yes. There are people who are working in the inclusive education space. There are banks, CSR avenues, hubs that are handling finances of bank, CSR of corporates, and they are funding education. So there are many ways, like Kotak Mahindra Bank has a CSR fund, right? Things that can come in. that requires a whole new arena, Zera, of what all you can do with education and the elements. I want to answer some of the questions that others have asked, such as an educational loan, Saurabh. Um, if you have an educational, so this gives some academic support depending on the eligibility that you have. We have it on our website very clearly. In addition, in CET, through CET and the School of Education, we have raised a few, reached out to corporate social responsibility to CSR organizations that will fund some of the students' educational needs. And so we have in the past given out loans to students as well, or help them facilitate those loans. And then, of course, banks do give loans. So loans are a different thing. Banks will, be ready to give you educational loans as well, which are low interest, etc. But in addition, we do have at both the TIS level and at our center school levels, we have ways of trying to gather those resources, but we can't promise and we can't guarantee. But yes, we do have those mechanisms in place. So there is a TIS support linked that we do try to reach out, but it's based on needs, and the more marginalized and the more needy person is based on their economic strata, their social marginalization, we will administer that. Those are as per the government guidelines, and so we follow those largely. And also the focus areas are with respect. Thanks, Pooja. But also, Pooja, you had asked a question on hostel accommodation. I did say some of our students do stay in the hostel campuses, both B.Ed, M.Ed, and MA education students. But these are the regular students. So hostel accommodation is made available for these students. For the other students who are coming in blended programs, MA education, elementary, and MA education technology, those students get the hostel accommodation based on, or accommodation that is taken care of largely in because you come in the vacation period, and we do take care of it largely. But the other students, not all of them get accommodation. So it depends again on need basis. The number of accommodations available at TIS is low. And so there are students who stay outside the campus because they have not qualified for hostel accommodation. So I do not want to make false promises. So Pooja, that's a hostel facility question that I had that you would do. We do try, and we do try to make those things. There are students, the TIS also has a very robust list of people where you can stay outside of campus, brokers that you can reach out to. All of it is available on our website, actually. And so we do try and facilitate some of those processes, but largely, yes. Accommodation, this is across all programs. Anyone from TIS will tell you it depends on needs and availability. And we map that on priority of who is more socially marginalized and economically disprivileged. Yes, I think this I have answered earlier as well. It won't matter 11, 3, or 16. It will be based on the marks. Or 15 or whatever that you're appearing, it will be based on the marks. Because we have said either or, so we can't be giving 30% to 3 and 30% to 11 and 33% to 16. No, we won't do that. Yeah. Zara, I think some of these elements about the course, etc., it would be useful to have a separate, chat and talk on it. But as Uchita was writing in the chat, I would just like to repeat the fact that you can please write in if you have doubts to cetprograms@clicksindia.org, and we write it. Avnish, yes, our students not only present papers, so I will, some of those slides that you saw had our students presenting papers at both national and international conferences. We have had students go to ICME. We have had students working on some of our reports. Recently, Anil and, has been a co-author of one of the reports for the UNESCO background papers, and our students have also got an opportunity to work on these researchers and be acknowledged on these as contributors. And with respect to publication, well, publication is really your effort, but we are happy to support you. But conference presentations, etc., yes, we do actively encourage, support, and guide you through them. Uchita perhaps can give us more details on it, since she and her peers have been a part of it. Yes.
So I think I'd like to start by saying I was a student of the MA in Education program, the first cohort in Mumbai, actually, and I'm currently working as a senior research associate at the center. So I think there's no shortage of opportunities here, whether it's conferences, it's publications, it's exposure, that is extremely high. So there are a lot of opportunities that do come in through the program, which we probably could not even anticipate right now. So there is a lot that you can do apart from just doing assignments in the program. In fact, I think what's unique is you'll also have the support to convert these regular class assignments into writing material that is of the publication level. So that kind of mentorship and guidance is definitely something you will find at the center.
And we have students of ours who have taken their term end assignments and made them publications in Scopus Index journals as well, like CED. And paper code does not matter, and the paper difficulty level, I'm sorry, we do not have a say on it. So no, we won't work on that. Saurabh, parents and Kargil War or ex-army persons, just as any Government of India institution, you will have to upload those documents. When you're registering with us, there will be those mentions where you have to tick mark, right? Like for disability, handicapped, marginalization of any kind. You would have also the army mentioned there, and you can tick mark those, and you have to support those supporting documents. And yes, those considerations are automatically applicable. It's as per the Government of India regulations. So everything of that sort. So when you're applying on the TIS site and the portal, you will get automatically some of these. You have to check, tick mark. They will tell you which documents to upload. Many of these are just about service records, etc., that you will have to upload. You can upload it. And then that automatically the cutoffs apply. For instance, SC/ST students will have a 5% relaxation, and so on and so forth, right? There will be no interviews this year. Yes. There is only the application that you have to submit by 19th May, applying through our website. That is also true. Yes. We do not have an what do you call we do not have the process of interviews this year, and the reason for it is anyway, as per the PGCUET, 75% has to be given to the cutoff has to be there. And the 25% we realized, lots of universities realized last year, that doesn't make much of a difference in who gets in. So we have not. So if you look at our TIS admissions website, you will find that we have the Master of Applications. You can look at your application. You can look at the cutoffs, and they are going to start from 19th May. And so you can be looking through those admission sites. Sorry, apologies. I will need to think about this. Sorry. So it is just the application that will begin from 19th May. True. And you have all the details out here in terms of what is there. And all of you who need more financial year aid and student loan support, please do check into our site and look at what all we are offering. There is also a guarantee-free loan that is available for students who are desirous of supplementing. So I wanted to also point out this element. This is a Government of India scheme. We are a central government institution, and all of you can actually get guarantor-free education loans, which are and collateral-free if you're viewing it. But in addition, as I said, we do have other support as well. Once you get the things, and then the PGCUET admissions largely start from 19th May. Sorry, there was someone else speaking something. I did not hear it, and I apologize.
Just introduce me too. So
Yes, Anil
no. Just
yes.
to let them know that I come from the industry, with about more than 2 decades of experience in the industry. So just to let you know that this also actively seeks out people like us, me too. I also teach as part of the MA Education Technology course and also for MA Elementary Education. I teach this course in instructional design. So
yeah. And he does a lot more than that. Anil also works with us on a lot of researches. He has been with us since we have worked on award-winning programs like Connected Learning Initiative. And he regularly takes capacity building workshops for our students, talking to them about what design thinking can be, what industrial, what kind of industry is looking out for, and advises quite a bit. So yes, he's undersold himself, but we will. So yes, admissions will begin from 19th May 2025, but largely there are instructions of how to fill those application form, and there is a very robust, many of these points are actually presented on the site, and I do want to tell you that all of it is available already for you to, look out and say. Sorry, my net is going a bit slow. So, but it is all available on the policy side, so you can have it. And yes, it is beginning only from 19th May. We are introducing it to you for you to consider, and you can write in to us if you have any doubts. Okay, if there are other questions, we are happy to take them. Otherwise, we will call it a night. Thank you for joining us. And if you have more questions and doubts, of course, you can write into ctprograms at clicksindia.org, as we have already shared.
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, Soumya.
Okay. Thank you for such an insightful session. In fact, I attended the webinar 2 months ago as well, but I wanted to understand about the application process as well. So I just wanted to clarify one thing. I would like to apply for B.Ed M.Ed integrated program, but I wanted to know that if I wish to join
Exit.
not exit part, but if I feel like if I'm not sure if I want to continue teaching, or I want to take up roles in higher education institutions. So if I wish to join something like program management or some educational consultancy, do you think this course would help me with that as well?
Yes, if you're doing B.Ed M.Ed integrated, we have students. One, you can take a call of exiting after B.Ed. Like 2 of our students had, this current batch joined B.Ed M.Ed, but in the end of the first year, they decided that they will exit after second year for various reasons. One wanted to start pursuing a job, do school education, and then get back into education. The other had financial commitments at home that required them to, switch gears. And so that is one option of exit that is allowed. That is what the lateral entry and exit is about. The second part of it is what you were looking at is what are the doors open to me, and what is the difference and distinction between B.Ed, M.Ed and MA education. Not much. B.Ed gives you doors of government schools openings, but we have a lot of B.Ed students who have also joined organizations like Mantra for Change in managerial roles, or CSF, which is Center Square Foundation. We have students of MA Education who have joined some of our programs for teaching. And Uchita is an example of how she's continuing to be in the teaching sector in the higher education, having done her MA education program. So you have publication opportunities, you have opportunities where they may join digital content, but also print content publications. You may be heading other program managerial roles. So you are allowed to sit for the placements of not just school teaching, but others. Certain schools have requirements of you having to have done your B.Ed, and only then will they consider. But there are other schools that allow MA education students also to apply. And so then both sit together. As I said, B.Ed gives you more of a edge in terms of teaching. And for the program manager roles, etc., that you were talking about as something that you would want, you will have to build your capacity for it. Because you have quite a few courses which are pedagogy centered, you can take extra credits. TIS has a system of allowing you to take extra credits and audit other courses. Audit courses will mean that you sit for all the lectures, but you don't take you don't do the assignments per se. We do discourage that. I mean, we have a cap on how many you can do like that, but you can also take extra credit courses and do more courses than the 20 credits in a semester that you are allowed, that you have to do. You can take, one more course and complete all the assignments and ensure that you have the credentials for it as well. So a lot of pathways are available. Does that help answer your question, Soumya?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Pooja, when will the session start for any of our programs? It will be in July, August end. That is when we will, July end, August. Sorry, I said August end, that I take back that, okay? It is July and August. That is when the orientations and the sessions, academic sessions are to start. That is actually across programs, not just for MED, but for all the programs, yeah. Please note that if you're also applying for HRM and LR, they have a different schedule. Because they took the CAT exam, they are 1 month ahead of us. Because the PGCUT results are just declared now, we are a bit behind. Yeah. Okay, Zehra, if you have more questions, you can always write into us. And what are the college timings? I did say this. We are 9 to 6. Some of our lectures begin at 9 o'clock in the morning. We have 2-hour slots, generally 9 to 11, 12. And this depends. Hyderabad campus has a slightly different timing, but generally it's 2-hour classes, and it is 9 to 6. So 9 to 11, 11 to 1. We have a break for 1 hour. Depends on which department or school you are, but around an hour. And then we have 2 to 4 and 4 to 6. And sometimes you have a free period in between, and sometimes you don't. That depends on what courses you have taken. But it is Monday to Friday and sometimes on Saturdays that we are having classes. And for those who are on elementary education and MA education technology, if you are interested in those part-time programs and those things, we work through Sunday as well on those days when you're on campus. So you actually don't get a break, because those 50 days that Uchita mentioned for you to be on campus, those, we try and ensure that we can crunch it in as much a short time. So we also work on Sundays, etc. on those days. Yeah. There will be times when you will be asked for internships and for programs where you will, be asked to come in for events, but largely Monday to Friday. I hope that answers your question, Zara. All right, all the very best. And if you have doubts, please write into us through all your queries. We are happy to take them and respond to you on email as well. And for now, we will call it a night. Good night, everyone, and all the very, very best. I'll end the session and yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.